Up, TP.
Coach EB,
How we doing today?
how excited are you? You're excited all the time. Does it go up a notch for the playoffs?
It always goes up a notch. Everything goes up a notch. It's playoff time. This is, everything that we've worked for. But one thing we don't want to do, we don't want to peak too soon. So we just want to make sure that we're managing our emotions, making sure we're taking the necessary steps to get ready for this game.
Do you see anything in practice, though? Do you see anything in practice? Like guys are getting extra hyped right now, this minute. They want to play.
Of course. Guys are always hyped. They're always excited. But we have enough leadership on this team to make sure, like I said, managing everyone's emotions. We want to be at our best when our best is needed. And the thing that we need to do is make sure that we're making the most of the process right now, all right? Making sure that we maximize yesterday's practice, but also understanding the importance of maximizing the opportunity that we all have when walking into this building today. That's going to help us to have the success that is needed on Sunday.
Coach, there's been a lot of conversation about the Rooney Rule. You have reportedly gone through 3 more interviews this year. What will happen? There's still one job open, still remains. But do you have any comment as to whether or not the Rooney Rule is working, whether it's doing what it was designed to do, and whether African-American coaches are getting the opportunities they should?
Well, I'll say this. I had an opportunity to interview for 3 jobs, and one thing I can say, I had a great process, a great discussion. And each and every interview is different. But at the end of the day, now all of my focus has turned on to what? The Houston Texans. It's time to make sure that our guys are ready to go to work, but also understanding the importance of what's in front of us. All right? So, all right, to piggyback off of that, yes, it's a blessing. It's always great to be mentioned. It's always great to have that opportunity to be considered in those roles. But when it's all said and done with, I work for a great organization. I work for a great boss. I work for a great owner. And on top of that, okay, we got some great people in this building that we're going to go out there and line up and play against these Texans with.
Listen, I know we've had a discussion. I'm here to ask the questions. I know this isn't your preferred line, but
okay.
You're the guy that's, you're the tip of the spear right now, right? Is the Rooney Rule working, yes or no?
Like I said, I had an opportunity to interview, okay? That should say it all, It was a great conversation. Now it's on to the game.
What kind of feedback have you gotten from either those teams or other people, friends of yours in the business after these games?
And here's the thing, and I'm going to put this out there. It's time to play against the Houston Texans, all right? You guys got to understand it. You guys know me, all right? My focus is on the Houston Texans, all right? One thing I want our guys to realize, we don't want to go backwards to have to go forward. Meaning what? First of all, remember that feeling that we had when we came in here after that New England game, all right? That's not anything that we want to have, all right? So we got to make sure we're eliminating all the distractions. We got to make sure we're mentally and getting physically prepared to play against our opponent, who's a hell of an opponent, okay? They did a hell of a job, all right, against us early in the season, and hell, it showed this past weekend too. So at the end of the day, my job is to make sure that we're making the most of this opportunity that's being presented today, all right? So what took place over the weekend or all the other stuff, that don't matter. It's time to go play ball.
When you hear some of your players, some of your guys do speak highly like of you and your ability to motivate and your ability to be tough on them, but still kind of command and respect. How does that make you feel? Because I know it matters so much that you kind of have those good relationships with your players, and kind of what you do is not that easy to do, to be a detailed kind of guy and be a stickler for details but still have them play for you. The feedback you get from them, how does it make you feel to at least know that they respect that and like that and vouch for you?
Well, the feedback is good, but and I take that with a grain of salt, and I'm not saying that I take it for granted. But at the end of the day, my job, I always tell guys, I coach hard, but I coach fair. All right? I'm going to be your biggest fan, but I'm also going to be your harshest critic. Why? I expect you to be at your best. I expect you to know what I know inside and out because of all the time that we spent in this, okay? I want them to make sure that anything, any information that we're giving them, they can regurgitate it back. That's how I know that they have it. And then on top of that, making sure that they understand the living in the now, because trust me, 1994 was the last time I had an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. All right, I haven't been back since. So if you want that opportunity, you got to be willing to give up something. All right, but also too, you got to invest everything that you have to make sure, all right, that we give ourselves the best opportunity to pursue that goal, and that's what today is about.
That's because you know how quickly this thing can go.
Yes.
Have you found, like, I'm sure it's not hard for you, but have you found that you've had to, like, kind of refocus this conversation, not just in here, but with players, with other people reaching out to you about something that you're trying to worry about right now this week?
Well, I'll say this. I have a way of ignoring everyone. I turn my phones off. So I just turn everything off. And at the end of the day, I just work. That's who I am. You know what I mean? So, and you learn early in your profession. I learned this as a player. Hey, in order for you to obtain the goals that you want to obtain, you got to remain focused and live in the now. And so that's what this is about. The only thing that matters is the opportunity that we have today to help us for Sunday.
One thing that's gone out there is over the bye, you guys were able to go one-on-one for some workouts. And this is a little bit of a different question, but what have you seen in your own defense's progression as the year has gone on going into this game?
You know what? The same thing that I've seen from my offense. These guys are playing hard. They're playing together. They're playing for one another. And they're just flying around. And you see the communication. Communication is the key to any successful relationship. And that's key when those guys are out there, because there's a lot of talk that needs to take place in the secondary. There's a lot of talk that needs to take place between the backers and the D-line. So one thing that you see is that the chemistry is coming together at the right time. And so those are the things that help you. Those are the things that matter, especially if you want to pursue the dreams that we've been chasing this entire 2019 season.
Coach, why are you guys so good at third down offense? I think you're like the best in the league when it comes to third down offense.
It's unfortunate. I do not know where we are ranked, but I will say this. Our guys take a tremendous amount of pride in making sure that they can do things when things aren't quite perfect. That's one of the most things that I've taken a tremendous amount of pride in, because these guys have always had to overcome obstacles. But I think this year they've done a great job of coming together and overcoming a lot of adversity in certain times. For whatever reason, we may put ourselves in a predicament where we're in third and long. But you know what? These guys don't panic. They remain poised under pressure, and they find a way to persevere through that by making it happen. You know?
When you look at Houston and their defense, you had J.J. Watt the last time. Then he goes out. Now he's back. He played, I think, like 60 of the 81 snaps. So you look at Merciless and you look at him, you kind of see their defense. Can you gain a lot from that last game when you're preparing for this defense, this game?
We can gain a lot from about the past 7 times that we've played them. You know, a lot of these guys have played together for a long time. This is a very experienced group. And we all know everything starts up front. Just what you just said. It starts with Watt and it starts with Merciless. And I'm not trying to disrespect anyone else on that team. But they have a great unit. And one thing these guys are doing, they're learning, all right, how to play well together. Obviously, they've had some injuries, but you can see the different sparks that can take place when you allow a J.J. Watt to make a big play. So it's our job to make sure that we're neglecting that. We want to make sure we're giving ourselves every opportunity to stay ahead of the chains. But also keeping in mind, that's not realistic, all right? Making sure our guys understand the importance, okay? If I get beat this play, that's all right. The only thing that matters is the next play and how I handle that particular next play. Those are the things that's going to help us for this weekend.
Eric, I know that you mentioned the idea of turning off the phone and switching the attention back to everything that leads up to Sunday. In your pursuit of one day maybe becoming an NFL head coach, how much of that is reminding yourself the idea that maybe the process for next year starts honestly today, tomorrow? The idea of what a Super Bowl run could mean for you, what it would mean obviously for Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, everybody down. How much of that do you feel is somewhat comparable to what may occur 11 months from now?
You know what? That's that's far from my mind, and I say that, and I appreciate you saying that. But one thing I've learned in this industry is that I'm a focus-driven individual. Okay, but what drives me is the success that we as a group have, that we as a team have, and I think that's important. So when it's all said and done with, the things that I'm looking forward to, all right, I'm looking forward to today's challenge, seeing how we're going to handle the adversity that we're going to put on our team by showing all these different defenses, all right, making sure that our guys can handle that. And on top of that, making sure they can handle Saturday practice and go out and take care of business on Sunday. Those are the things that excite me. Those are the things that generate, my excitement about being a part of this, working with the people that I have an opportunity to work. I get to work with Coach Reed every single day. I get to work with one of the best GMs in the business, in Brett Veach. Then on top of that, hell, we got one of the better players, that's being recognized in this industry. And so at the end of the day, you want to enjoy the now, okay? I'm going to continue saying that because it's about the now. We want our players to stay focused on the now. Today doesn't matter. Tomorrow doesn't matter, excuse me, all right? The only thing that matters is the opportunity that we have at hand today. And we got to make sure that we're maximizing this opportunity. 365 days from now, I can't control that. I can't control that at all. The only thing I can control is when I'm done, I'm going upstairs and getting ready for practice. That's important.
Eric, what do you remember from game planning for these guys the first time around? You're piecing together an offensive line. Sammy's out. Tyreek's up in the air. Patrick's a little hobbled. What do you remember about that, and how different do you think it's going to be this time?
You know what? And I'll say this. Yeah, you mentioned some guys that didn't play and some guys that was a little banged up. That's part of the business. At the end of the day, we wanted to make sure that we had the best game plan to give us the best opportunity to win. All right? Those guys did a hell of a job. We didn't fulfill our end. All right? So now the only thing that you want to do is make sure that we maximize different situations and make sure that we're ready to play, all right? Making sure that our guys see some of the things and some of the adjustments that they made, but also understand the importance and value of what we need to do, okay? And that's critical for us to be successful.
You were missing Eric Fisher for about half the season, and the numbers between him and the lineup is not. There's a significant difference there. What is it about Eric that gives you something extra, and especially in a game like this when he's going up against Watley?
You know what? Eric's been in this league now for 7 years, and each and every year you just see the growth and the maturity in him, and he brings a lot to the table. He's played a lot of football, and the thing that he brings to the table is his experience. He also does a great job of communicating with his guys. I think it's just all about the familiarity and just the union of that five playing together. Now, I know we've had different pieces that are filled in those roles, but at the end of the day, it's just about him being back on that field, being in rhythm, being in sync, and just having a feel for the game. And one thing that I appreciate about Fish is he's going to play his ass off, all right? He's going to give you all that he has for that one particular play. And then you know what? He's going to line up and do it all over again. Good, bad, or indifferent.
Last one, Travis.
I got two questions. One is a dirty football question. I'll ask that last. When I talk to former players, one thing they all tell me, or a lot of them tell me, is that kind of like the worst thing you can have happen in your career is to like maybe football regret.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you is, how can you stave that off? Like, what, in your experience, all your years playing, coaching, like what's the best way to stave that off, and what's your message to players who might maximize what they have?
So, like I always tell the guys, these days are special. Okay, they're very, very special. Not everybody has an opportunity to go to the playoffs as many times as we've had. Not everyone has had the opportunity to win a division for a fourth straight season. So it's all about understanding what is at hand, okay? Making sure that you don't take it for granted and maximizing what you have, because tomorrow it can all be taken away. And we know in this profession, everything goes by fast. I can remember the Super Bowl in 1994, technically it was 1995, playing in it against the San Francisco 49ers as if it was yesterday. And the thing that I thought as a young player is that I would have that opportunity to get back. Well, hell, lo and behold, it's 24 years later? Ain't been back. So at the end of the day, I want these guys to understand that the friendships and the bonds that are made, all right, throughout this journey that we've encompassed together, all right, become very, very important and very, very lasting. So make sure that you understand that the dynamics that you're intertwined with are very, very special, okay? And that's important in life moving forward, on and off the field.
As a football reporter, I'm kind of like obsessed with like sight adjustments. A lot of times teams that, like the receivers that like are like on it, those offenses execute really well. My question to you is like, why is that not like a given in this league that every team can execute those well? And what's the importance of like nailing those down, you know, in this offense?
I think that's very important. And it all starts with making sure that guys have pre-snap awareness. On top of that, having the urgency to get open. But all that starts in practice. It starts in the classroom. It starts with our coaching staff. I think our coaching staff does a hell of a job. It starts with Coach Reed. It starts with myself. It's important that we do a great job of over-communicating all the little things that needs to be properly communicated. And then when it's all said and done with, we got to make sure that our guys are doing the jobs that are needed. First and foremost, lining up, hey, what's the coverage? All right? Understanding the coverage, and then understanding the importance, hey, if they do this, what am I responsible for doing? Not easing my way through it, but having a sense of urgency and a sense of purpose to getting it done. That's all that matters, and those are the things that we strive upon and we teach and we stress, and we want our guys to be great at it.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Coach.